This episode features the nonprofit Hot Mess Express. They serve women in their communities by going into their homes and helping them with cleaning and organization, judgment free. They like to say that they love to give women not a handout, just a hand. So listen to this episode with Brittinie Tran, who is the president and chair. She shares some great stories and also gives the beautiful reminder that none of us need to feel alone or afraid to ask for help. Welcome to the Do Something More podcast, the show all about service where we highlight the helpers who inspire us all to do something more. If you're passionate about nonprofits or looking for simple ways to volunteer and give back to the causes that matter to you, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Melissa Draper. Stick around and I'll show you all the many ways anyone can truly make a difference in our world today. Welcome to this episode of the Do Something More podcast. And today I am featuring a nonprofit that the minute I learned about it, it hit close to home. They're called Hot Mess Express, and they serve women in their communities with no judgment through cleaning, organizing, and offering a fresh start. And as I said, I have experienced the beauty of this service on both sides. So I might get a little teary-eyed, I don't know, while we do this interview, but I'm excited to learn more about the good work that they do. And we are going to do that through my guest today, Brittinie Tran. She is the president and board chair of Hot Mess Express. So Brittinie, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So let's just get started first by you giving a little introduction of yourself and then getting into exactly what you do with Hot Mess Express.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and a hot mess, and so that is a great way to put me into those three categories. Pretty much sum me up. But I lead Hot Mess Express, and I'm based in North Carolina, and have been able to grow the nonprofit across the country, which has been absolutely incredible. And yeah, I spend my days mostly trying to find new ways to validate women, to support women, and to just reassure women that they're not as alone as they think. We get kind of lost in that a lot and feel like we're more isolated than we are. We actually do have a lot in common across the country, all of us. So I try my best to try and make that known and reassure women that, we're all struggling. So
Absolutely. And we all need to not feel alone in that struggle as well.
absolutely.
So how did Hot Mess Express get started?
Yeah, so it was about 4 years ago. There was a mom who had posted in a local moms group, and her post was just very basic. She was just like, I need help with cleaning. She said she was expecting her second child. She had a toddler at home. Her partner was away a lot for work, and she just had hit her limit. But she made it very clear that she didn't really have the means for anything. So she was looking for recommendations for something affordable because she just couldn't do it anymore. And a lot of people were really quick to offer, cleaning ladies and companies and things like that, that they thought would fit. But we kind of recognized there was a bigger need there. She didn't really need to hire a cleaning service. She really just needed support. She needed a community. She needed her village. And from that one post, that is how now Hot Mess grew. And so we ended up 8 of us showed up for her, and we just came with literally mops and buckets and cleaning supplies. We got in there and we cleaned the house top to bottom. We had kicked the family out. We said, go have a good day together. And when you come back, it's going to be all done. And we did, the windows and the baseboards, just all that stuff that is just so overwhelming. And we went in their fridge. We saw that there was a need there. So we ended up getting them some groceries. And, we switched out baby clothes. Like that's such a big one too, that is so overwhelming. We got all that ready. And then we had dinner cooking in the crock pot. So when they walked in, they had a day that they got to spend together without having to worry about what was waiting for them at home. And she walked in and you could visibly see the weight just melt off of her. She just took it all in, and it was just the most beautiful moment. And we all remember it thinking like, this is going to be something. We have to do this again, So
Yeah, I love how you said it's not just about coming in and cleaning, because a lot of us could hire a cleaning service or we could have someone come in and do that. But I think as women especially, we feel that weight of wanting to create a home and a
Yeah.
haven for our families, and there's a feeling that goes with that. And to have other women come in and help you in that moment to create, as you said, as she walked in, there's a feeling there. And you're feeling mothered too. I think in those moments,
Yes.
they need to feel mothered just as much as they're trying to do it for their family. So I
Exactly.
love
We all
that.
need someone to take care of us sometimes too, and that's what having women around you can do. You have to take care of each other. We're not meant to do this all alone. And there is so much more than, like you said, the cleaning and organizing is such a small piece of what we do. There's so much more for just the mental health and just the reassurance. And I always talk about validating, but I feel like that's something that women need so frequently, is just to be
Mhm.
validated that, it's okay to feel stressed, and it's okay for your house to get overwhelming and all of those kind of things. So, there's so many different things that we get to do when we do these missions.
And I feel like you're kind of getting invited into that sacred space of just coming into their home, again, with no judgment and giving that assistance.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you grow it from there, and how did you come up with the awesome name of Hot Mess Express? I love that. That just makes
It's
you
so funny because
smile when you read it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's one that, like, everyone always they just, like, it resonates, I think because 'cause we're all just walking hot messes, and so, it resonates with people. That was actually really funny because we just put that out to kind of our group, and we were like we threw 3 names out, and everyone overwhelmingly was Hot Mess, and at this point, I can't even imagine it being anything else, like, it is exactly perfect name. So
it is.
but yeah, so we had that mission, post about it online, and that TikTok blew up. And I mean, it was within like a week that over 200 women were trying to create the same thing in their communities. And so we spent a few months just doing, local missions to our area, helping more and more women. The response was overwhelming. I mean, we had over 50 women just in our area alone who had asked for assistance. So we were starting to do that for a few months. And then after that, things around the country just started kind of popping up all over. And we were like, we probably should get a little bit of a handle on this, so we ended up kind of, reaching out to these women and starting to form an actual nonprofit with affiliates across the country.
They really are all across the country. I checked, and there's one here in my county.
Love it.
That I
Yeah.
could join, so, yeah, I love that too, and, yeah, it does not surprise me that that video blew up. I think that was how I found your nonprofit, was watching one of those videos, and as I said, I have been a woman in that situation that walked through a time where I struggled with my health and mental illness, and I totally identify with the feeling that is of those angels coming in to help you, when you can't always help yourself in the ways that you want. And then being able to turn that around and reciprocate that has been such a blessing in my life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, the volunteering. Like, I know that obviously the women that we help get so much out of it, but doing the helping is another part that isn't talked about very often, but like that gives us so much. I mean, we also go into these homes and feel reassured, So,
Right.
yeah,
Yes, that is life-giving and
exactly.
validating just to be of service and to be able to help another woman. I'm sure you have, again, from those videos, lots of good experiences, but do you have any stories? We love to hear stories on this podcast of those you have served or those who have been involved in serving,
Yeah.
that kind of illustrate more in depth the good work you're doing.
Absolutely. We've had, I think one thing I love to talk about is the women that want to get involved and to start their affiliates and start and volunteer and stuff like that. Because they come to us and talk about how it resonates with them, how they were going through cancer treatments and their house wasn't a priority, how their spouse was, their life was unexpectedly taken and their house wasn't the priority. Special needs children, the house isn't the priority. And so hearing all of these stories as they come to us and just say like this just hits home and I want to be a part of it, I think speaks to the need. And I think it's just one of the coolest parts. But the other part of it is definitely getting to do the missions and the women that we help. It's very, very rewarding because we don't help, just one specific women. We don't help just moms. We don't help just, elderly or anything like that. Is just women across the board. Because at any point in your life as a woman, you need help sometimes, and that's okay, whether you've had children or not. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in, that we welcome all women. So some of our missions are for example, this year we had some missions that were helping like elderly women whose children had moved out of the house, and they just, some of them have arthritis, some of them it's just difficult to bend down and to really get those things that we were talking about, like baseboards in the windows and that kind of stuff. And then on the other side of it, we've helped like college students who have relocated for the first time in their life, and they're setting up their apartment. And what a wonderful feeling to have a community to count on of women your age, women older than you, who can help you set up and, offer advice and things like that. And so we've seen a lot of those kind of things, which is great too. I will say the one that stands out to me the absolute most is we
Mhm.
had a woman that we had helped who, her and her husband had a catering company, and life threw just everything at them, and it became really hard. And so they ended up having to step away from that. And their house just started to just kind of close in on them. That just wasn't the priority. Their mental health wasn't the best, and they were struggling. And so when we went to this mission, we could barely fit three of us in her kitchen because it was just so much clutter. And she talked to us about how she was just so desperate to be able to use her kitchen and to provide, cooking and do these things for her family again. And so we ended up going back. I wasn't at that actual mission, so I came back,
Mhm.
and she wanted me to come back because she wanted me to see it, and to show it off. And I think, like, how cool is that? Like she just wanted to be like, look at my clean house, so we walked, and all three of us walked into that kitchen without any problems. We fit so comfortably. And she was just talking about how the night prior she cooked her for the first time in over a year for her family in that kitchen. And so, I just think that is so beautiful that we were able to offer that for her. And she had such a new excitement. She was so excited. She was opening all the doors, showing the work that she had done as well, which was really cool to see that she was continuing. It gave her that motivation she needed, that fresh start. And so, yeah, so that was just so cool to see the pride in her face as she was showing all that off.
The thought I kept thinking as you shared that story and some of the others is as you do these opportunities to serve and lift these women, then it empowers them to be able to go and do that within their circle. Like,
Absolutely.
cleaning up that kitchen allowed her to make dinner for her family, which was a service she wanted to do, right? And
Yes.
I could just see that. I could see you helping an elderly woman and being able to then serve or have her grandchildren in her home, maybe in a way that she
Mhm.
wasn't able to before. So it's just a beautiful full circle thing.
Exactly. We talk a lot about when people join as volunteers or anything like that, that this is not, we don't have volunteers and then we have the women we help. Like, this is meant to be a community. So the idea is, in this moment, this woman saying, I need the help. And so we rally around her and we help her and we lift her up and we get her back to where she needs to be. And then in another moment, a volunteer is going to need help. And then we rally around that person. It's meant to be a give and take. It's meant to create that community that I feel like we've really stepped away from. We've lost in the last few years. So we're really working hard to bring that back, the idea of just giving to give, helping to help.
Yeah, and creating that community that I agree. We've lost some of that since COVID,
Yes.
and
Yes, we
I
have.
love that idea of just bringing people back together. And a lot of us want to be productive in our community. We want to be able to do those things, so providing those opportunities is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Well, do you usually have I'm sure every mission's a little different. Do you usually have the family, like, leave for the day, or sometimes are they there working along beside you, or do you just do whatever is best for the person that you're choosing to go in and help? How does that look?
Yeah, we usually allow them to choose. We give that completely up to them. We don't want to put any pressure because everybody has their own anxieties, and sometimes it's more anxious to watch and watch people go through all of your stuff because we get into stuff. We don't just surface clean. We are
Right.
pulling all the stuff out. We're opening cabinets, opening drawers. We're trying to make it sustainable. So we're really in your stuff. So
Mhm.
we always go through ahead of time and ask if there's any off limit areas, but still, like, just watching people kind of go through and make decisions about your stuff and where it goes and things can be overwhelming. And so, on the other hand, some people feel very anxious walking away and trusting people to go through their things. And
Mhm.
so, we like to give that as an option. Sometimes they stay, and that is really rewarding because then we get to kind of what I had talked to a little bit before, be able to share our knowledge with them as well. That's something that is kind of like this lost gift that we used to have where women would come together and that next generation passing that kind of stuff down. A lot of these women, the reason their houses get to this also is because they weren't ever taught any of this, like
Right.
there's nowhere
They
for them to have known how to keep a house. And
right.
so
They just need a few tools.
exactly, and when you got a group of, 6 to 8 women coming in, I mean, we've all have our own houses and our own struggles, so then we all learn from each other, which is just really, really rewarding as well.
I imagine there's a lot of friendships that are built in that process because I don't always love cleaning by myself, but I love cleaning with a group of women.
Right.
That's fun.
It's very different, we always laugh because, like, there's no mistake, like, our houses are not clean, like, we're not like, "Oh, well, we're house we've done everything, we have nothing left to do, well, let's go clean someone else's."
Right.
That's not what's happening here, it's that we've cleaned this house a million times, and we're kind of sick of it, and so we're gonna go clean your house. It's a new space, new items to put away, new things to see, and then we've got music going, we're talking, we're laughing, we're venting, whatever it is that you do with your girlfriends, and it is a very different experience than when you're just sitting at your own kitchen sink watching the same dish again, you know?
You're right. Yep. The one I just wanna make my kids do because 'cause I'm done, so I'll go do somebody else's instead.
Exactly. I always tell just to reassure because I know that that kinda gets in their head, the women that we help, like, that we have it together more than them, and that's exactly what we're trying to break is and I always tell
Right.
them I walk past my sink full of dishes, I step over the pile of laundry and stub my toe on a toy on the way out to help you because you're in the thick of it. You need it right now, And so yeah, I don't like that, them thinking that that is the case, and we are literally the brand. We live the brand.
Right. Yeah, nobody's superior here, we're all on equal ground,
Yes,
and we all
exactly.
understand
And it's
how life
important
is.
for them to understand that because, when we say no judgment, it's not, like a tagline or something, we genuinely mean it. And when we bring on affiliates and we bring on volunteers, we do ask those kind of questions because we want to make sure that they understand that, sometimes people, they want to not pass judgment and they want to do those things, but your face gives you away, your body language gives you away. And the women that come to support our nominees are women who are coming without any judgment. So you can open the closet and let all the stuff fall out and we're going to just ask where you want the stuff. That's all that's going to happen.
Right, right. Clean the bathroom that hasn't been cleaned in a while, and we're just gonna
Yeah.
say, "What do you want me to clean?"
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. How do you usually find the women that you go and help?
So we have a process on our website where you can nominate yourself or someone else. We really, really strongly push the idea of nominating yourself. I think that women need to ask for help when they need it and not be ashamed and not be afraid. And so we've tried to create a safe space where you can ask for that help and all you're going to receive is the help. And so we have a form that you can fill out and it basically just asks for a little idea of what you're looking at, what your priorities are, that kind of stuff. And as long as it's within the scope of something we can handle, then we are happy to accommodate.
Yeah, and I imagine that does well, I can say that for myself. It does take a lot of courage sometimes to stand up and say, "Hey, I need some help here." And I would imagine sometimes going to a group of women that maybe aren't in your circle can give you the courage to do that.
Exactly.
We should be able to ask those
Yes.
closest to us, but if we are practicing doing that, a good place to start is maybe people that aren't as much in our circle, and then we can start working our way back in as we do
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, and like that's exactly what we hope. And there's a lot of women that, it's not all women who can't afford it. A lot of women can afford to hire someone to come in and clean. A lot of the women we help have family that live in the area, but there is a different level layer to that, right? Like that is the
Mhm.
judgment that comes from allowing those people to come into your home and see it. And so having something is specifically set up and made to come in without any judgment feels like a safe space. And
Right.
that's what we want, you know. So I totally get that. I also have had to learn. It's not something I was born with. You know, we were
Mhm.
definitely raised to keep your home, and a home is a direct reflection of the woman in the house and, you know, that kind of stuff. So, really trying to change the whole mindset around that.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, going back to the volunteer side, so it seems like with a lot of these affiliates, if you join one, you're not necessarily having to do every one that comes up. It seems like they kind of just put it out there and you try to get a group. Is that kind of how it works? Am I understanding that right?
Yes, yeah, they'll go through and, we try and kinda do it as they come in, but, you know, sometimes there's certain circumstances. We had a woman who was having a baby, and she was in desperate need to get some stuff organized, and her baby was coming. So we went in there and bumped her to the top and tried to help her when we could, so, that you know, and then what happens is we create an event. We have different Facebook groups for the affiliates, and they create an event, and they share just the basics, kind of who this person is and what the job would look like, and we try and get as many volunteers as we can. You know, it's really interesting because it depends on the affiliate and the location. Some, you know, it's harder to find volunteers, and some it's harder to find nominees. And so that's something we look for equally, is trying to encourage women to step forward to help and also to ask for help. So
I would just imagine as a volunteer, it'd be good to know, hey, if you're signing up for an affiliate, it's okay. You can say, I can do one a month,
oh,
and
for sure.
maybe someone else can do 2 or 3 a month. There's no
Sure.
you're jumping in and doing what you feel you can give.
Exactly. We don't ever want it to be overwhelming. It's supposed to be, you know, just a thing that you want to do you want to be a part of. And I mean, even the length of the mission, you know, we welcome women coming just for a couple hours. You know, if you can't stay for the full 4 hours or whatever the mission looks like, just coming for a couple of hours, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And just seeing if it's for you, even, or if you only have an hour to give or whatever that looks like. But yeah, there's no pressure on that. And it's meant to just kind of create a community, and a lot of our affiliates, it's really cool because they go beyond that and they do community events and get-togethers and, you know, girls' nights, moms' night, that kind of stuff, and again, building a community.
That's wonderful. What about if someone wants to start an affiliate, if they don't have one in their area, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we spent this last year working really hard to create an onboarding process because we want our affiliates to be sustainable. We want them to last and, you know, to lead with confidence. So we've really worked hard on that. So you can apply on our website, and then we will go through an interview process with you. We have some onboarding tasks and things like that, so that you're going into it feeling confident. You know exactly what is within the scope of Hot Mess, how to handle certain situations and that kind of stuff. So we have some amazing affiliates. We've seen some amazing things, and they together have actually we've almost hit 400 missions this year.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Isn't
And
that
I just
cool?
thought of one other question for, like, cleaning supplies. Do the volunteers just kinda bring what they like to work with? How do you manage all that?
Yeah, I mean, one cool thing about it is, like, I have learned so much, from being around all these women, you know? The
Everybody
trick
has their own little tips and tricks.
Yes, I'm telling you, I'm like, they tell me things, I'm like, "I genius," you know? So that's a really cool part of it. But yes, we one of my favorite things is that Hot Mess is about showing up and offering your time. And so if that means you show up with nothing in your hand, but just hands ready to work and a judgment-free attitude, you can absolutely turn a house completely upside down with that alone. A lot of our volunteers will bring supplies they have on hand. They'll ask, you know, every volunteer, can you bring one cleaning supply? You can also use what is on hand at the home. There's nothing wrong with that as well. You can lead a mission without any of that. Some of our affiliates have, you know, big goals, and they really want to have, you know, their specific items and cleaning supplies and vacuums and things like that. And so they can fundraise and they bring in donations that way, or through like an Amazon wish list, which is also really nice too. It kind of, you know, it's just fun. It makes it like something to work towards, and it's nice
Mhm.
having your own Hot Mess, you know, little set of stuff. So
Yeah, and I guess that would be another way people could support it is to donate to the wish list for their affiliate.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our affiliates love to provide snacks and drinks or pizza or something like that for the volunteers, which is, so important just to have that time. We kind of take a break in the middle for 30 minutes and go out and just chat and eat, and things like that. And then also sometimes they like to leave things for the women that we help. We have some who they actually have someone who bakes a cake for them that they leave every time.
Oh,
We
sweet.
have someone who donates a loaf of fresh bread, which like, if
Oh.
you're talking dreams here, I mean, my house is clean and it smells like fresh bread,
Uh-huh.
so
Yep.
yeah, there's a bunch of ways that, they appreciate, donations and things like that just so they can grow it and make it fun and bring in more people and, just make it an enjoyable time for everybody.
Well, you've sold me, Brittany. I wanna go sign up right now with my own Hot Mess Express affiliate. As I said, this is something that's been near and dear to my heart as well, and I know supports women in so many good ways and really helps them feel seen and loved no matter what season they're walking through.
Absolutely.
And I hope we've convinced those who are listening to go find you and join an affiliate or start one. But if that is not the case, we do always end each podcast episode with just general advice. And so, just generally, what is the advice you'd give for someone that's feeling that stirring? And I know we've talked about this a little bit, but maybe you could just put your own little final check on this is
Mhm.
feeling that stirring to help, or again, having the courage to ask for help from either side. What would advice are you going to give?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, as far as for hot mess specifically, that again, I guarantee you're going to be met with welcome arms, whether you're volunteering or you're asking for help, any affiliate you go to. So if there's any hesitation that, maybe these won't be your people, or maybe it's going to, you're going to feel uncomfortable, it's kind of cool because hot mess kind of weeds that out for you. You already know they're going to be your people,
Right?
and we come without the judgment. We're hot messes, so we're right there. And then on top of that, just in your daily life, even if it's not going forward with hot mess in any capacity, just in your own life, making sure that you are creating a space for the women in your life to ask for help if they need it, to step up and to do the thing, to offer the help, to give the help without even needing to be asked, and also to show your own mess that we typically will scrub our house to the point where it looks like we don't live there when people come over. And so just welcoming people as your house is, and it's okay, it's all right, because it's really setting that tone for her that she comes over and she's like, oh, okay, other people live like this too. you know
Right. I've said that for many years that I just want to invite people into my home, no matter its state, because I hope I'm showing them
yeah,
that we're all allowed to have a messy home at times. Messy
exactly.
homes are homes that are lived in,
Yeah,
and
it's
we're
okay
all
for your house to look like you
all
live
doing
there.
life. Yeah, yeah. Well, and your group is doing something that women have done for hundreds of years. It's definitely not new work,
Mhm.
but I love this organized way of doing it. And there's a lot of power in that organization and doing it that way and the things that you can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Well, where can people find you on social media?
So our
You're on
website
the
is hotmessexpress.co, and that's where you can apply to volunteer, to become an affiliate, to ask for help, to donate. All of that is on our website. And then we're on TikTok and Instagram. We love to make reels and showcase the work we're doing. Who doesn't love a good before and after? Those are our favorites. And so we're on all of those hotmessexpress.nonprofit. And so you can find us on there and see what we're doing across the country.
Yeah, and fair warning, you might get emotional watching some of those videos. I for
That's
sure
the
have.
goal.
Well, Brittany, this has been such a great conversation. Any final words that you want to share?
No, I just think that, I encourage you to look into hot mess and see if it's the right fit. And if it isn't, I just encourage you to support the women in your life and to not be putting so much pressure on yourself. And it's okay to, have a mess sometimes. It's okay to not be perfect. And, we're all hot messes, like I said. So
That's a beautiful message. Well, thank you so much.
thank you.
That concludes my interview with Brittinie Tran and all the good work that she is doing with Hot Mess Express. I will leave links to their website and their social media in the show notes so you can go learn more about them. And also, I would highly encourage you to check out one of their videos. They are inspiring to watch. And I, of course, will always take your 5-star ratings or reviews, or I would love to hear one thing that you have loved about this episode or another one that you have listened to on the Do Something More podcast. You can do those wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as always, this week, I hope that you can find a way to do something more to help lift, inspire, or make a difference.